Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Beautiful Black Witch channel. My name is Erica and I read stars, tarot cards, and other intuitive messages. Sometimes that's a tongue twister for me. But we're back for the Aries Full Moon. Make sure you guys thumbs up this video, make sure you subscribe, and turn on that little bell to be notified when I upload. And if you're interested in a private or personal reading, please DM me on Instagram or use the link down in my description box to email me. If you feel like you want to donate to the channel, there's links down there too for that. And yeah, I think that's all my announcements. Oh yeah, this video is for everybody, not just for the sign the video is titled for. Some people message me and ask me when I'm going to be doing their sign, and I just let them know that this is for everybody. I don't really do specific signs. I just go by what the moon phase is doing. And yeah, I tell everyone what the collective energy is and maybe how it's going to be affecting you personally. And other than that, yeah, just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Also, if you hear any background noise, my family's home, my neighbors are home upstairs, and I can't compensate for everybody's schedule. So if you hear background noise, that's just people living their lives, doing them. I hope that the mic doesn't pick up too much on it, but if it does, that's what that is. Oh yeah, the first thing I wanted to say is Mercury retrograde is finally over. Can you tell your girl's extra chatty now? And my brain is like all over the place. Because now it's kind of like moving forward again. The wheels are turning, things are starting to make sense. And this Mercury retrograde really hit your girl. If you've been following me for a while, you saw the last couple of videos. I was stumbling over my words. I was going through a bunch of technical difficulties all the time. It was just a lot going on. Like, it hit me in every angle. It was like, even in my personal life, it was misunderstandings and just a whole bunch of stuff was just going on. And I was like, can this Mercury retrograde be over already? And it is. We still got to deal with the post retrograde period phase, but it's not going to be as intense as the actual retrograde was. So yeah, it's going to like fizzle out as the days go on. So that was our last Mercury retrograde for the year. Thank God we don't have to deal with the next one until a couple of months, which is like January or something. I think the next one is, but that's not till next year. But the winter's coming and we gotta prepare for that next. So for the quote for this full moon, I kind of scrolled past it one day, as I genuinely do, scrolling by. And I don't know, sometimes certain quotes stick out to me and I screenshot them and I save them for when they resonate again. So this one really stood out to me recently, and it's pretty deep and it's kind of long, and your girl can read this time because Mercury retrograde won't get me. Yeah, I'm gonna pop it up on the screen somewhere and you guys can just pause it and read it for yourselves, but this really resonates for this full moon, I feel. And it says, people who have revived themselves after almost drowning in trauma do not get enough credit. Even though the pain was massive, they did not stay stagnant or bitter. They knew the only way out was the path of healing, and they used it to start a new life. By Young Pueblo. And this stood out to me because this resonates with me in my personal life. We all have gone through certain traumas and certain wounds that we've carried with us, and I feel like since the pandemic, we've all been having to like sit down and like face those things that we haven't been looking at. And it's been a journey. And of course, when we're forced to do something that we're not ready for, certain things can be hard to adjust to and accept, but as the years have gone on and the world is continuing to change every year and every day, I feel like we are starting to accept certain changes, and we're starting to adapt to certain things that's happening. And that even goes down to even like our personal lives. A lot of us have had to let go of a lot of things, had to really deal with a lot of traumas and wounds that was intense to deal with. And I'm really feeling emotional for some reason because it's intense. But we don't give each other credit or ourselves enough credit from where we've came from and where we are now. And for those of you who have, taken and acknowledged how far you've come, then that's good, and I feel like that's what this energy is really highlighting, illuminating for us, how far we've come and how far we have to go, because, the work is never done. Some traumas can never be, or wounds can never be fully healed, but a lot of things had to be like forced upon us, or a lot of things have been being brought up this past year because we've had like 6 planets retrograde, and retrogrades really bring things up, make you review things and reflect on things that, we've been either doing or not doing or, processing. And it's just letting bringing things to light, like, hey, this is what you've been up to. This is what you've been putting your energy into. And it gives us a time to reflect and to really think about whether we want to continue putting our energies and efforts into things. So with all of these planets going retrograde this year, we've really been tackling those traumas and those wounds little by little, and it's within our jobs, within our families, within our daily lives, somehow, some way, it's been seeping through our lives, and we've been trying and actually shifting and changing with the world, because everything in the world is changing, even the ways that we make money and communicate and connect with each other. It's, more remote. So we've all had to adjust to that some way or somehow. And that really mirrors how somewhere in our lives we had to, adjust as well. So with this Aries full moon, or even with this quote here too, it's just going to be illuminating, like I was saying, all the work that we've been putting in so far, with Mercury finally going direct. And I'm going to talk about this a little later, but Pluto even goes direct the day before the full moon actually hits. So all those deep-seated issues and traumas, or things that we just been putting under the rug, or not looking at, and the baggage that we've been carrying with us, like anything that's been put in the dark that we have not brought to light, have been brought to light with the Pluto retrograde. And we've had to really work on our reprogramming our brain, because we've noticed that certain things that we've been through have affected our mental processes and how we deal with our emotions and how we communicate with others and how it makes us act, so we've been really getting down to our own psychological processes and, reprogramming ourselves, like old ways of thinking. We've been really getting rid of old beliefs and old ways of thinking and things that just don't serve us anymore. That's like really deep-seated in our minds and in our thoughts. So with Pluto going direct now, we're going to now be able to apply those things that we learned about ourselves, about our traumas, about our wounds, about the things that make us uncomfortable, or about the way that we connect with others. We're going to really be applying those things to our lives because we've learned so much about ourselves during all of this retrograde, and we have so many more planets retrograde to deal with. So like I was saying, like, the work is not done yet, but it's like now we get to take note of how far we've come. And this full moon can also trigger some of those said traumas and wounds. But into saying all of that, I just wanted to say, just take account in how far you've come, and be proud of yourself that you didn't continue to stay asleep on yourself, or continue to live in the past, because that's what those thoughts were, that's what those traumas were. You were reliving those bad things that has happened to you over and over and over and over. So with facing those things and dealing with those things little by little, just chipping away at them, it has brought you this far, and it's just time to take note of how far you've come. Even if you don't feel like it's a lot, just whatever it is, like, you just gotta stand in that and let that drive your confidence to keep going. Even if it's just one habit that you broke throughout this whole time, that's everything. That's everything, honestly. And it just should motivate you to keep going and don't give up on yourself, because you see, little by little, it is paying off, and it is making you the person that you really want to be in the end. I also wanted to mention that the 1010 portal is happening, obviously, on October 10th. And 1010 is an angel number that is about endings and new beginnings. It's about a leveling up. Some old chapters that are ending, some old phases that are coming to an end. Like, all of those things are closing and you're starting something new. It's like an instant thing, like a rebirth. It's just time to take note of the ways that you've leveled up, and the chapters that you've closed, and the habits that you've left behind, and the phases that you are no longer a part of, that you've grown out of. Like, it's just time to really take note and all of that. And again, continue moving forward, full steam ahead, and continue doing the work and being proud of yourself and taking note of all the little bitty milestones, because they are important. I hope I'm not just sounding super rambly, but yeah, this is just a really good time. It's a really triggering time, but it's also a really, really good time to see how far you've come, because I'm super proud of myself. And yeah, we're going to continue getting tested. So the stronger your muscles are, sometimes the stronger the battle, the stronger the storm is, but you can handle it. That just shows you how much stronger you've gotten when the storm is dark. Because you can take it. You got everything. You're locked and loaded. You've been through this before. You know what to do at this point, So that's just how I'm dealing with my triggers and my traumas when I'm feeling a type of way. I'm just like, this is just a test. This is just a test. And sometimes I gotta cry it out, and sometimes I just, I get upset. Whatever my reaction is, I let myself have it. And then I'll be like, you know what? This is a test. And it's okay, because I'm gonna pass this. And you ain't gonna win. And then I work on my affirmations. I work on my positive mindset. I just work on staying positive and work on moving forward, because if I dwell on it, that's when I start to get lost in my head. But that's neither here nor there. I'm freaking rambling at this point. So this full moon is taking place on October 9th, and it's in Aries, obviously. And Aries is ruled by Mars. And Mars is about our desires, our strengths, our action, our ambition, our anger, our, did I say passions already? Our desires. All of those things, it's what drives us. It's what keeps us going. It's like our battery, our fire, the fire within us. And with the moon being there, that can be an uncomfortable thing, because the moon just wants to go with the flow. It just wants to take things easy. It's not very action oriented, but this is an action oriented sign and placement. So that's how our emotions are going to be on drive. You're going to want to express how you feel. And sometimes this is a bad combination to, like I was saying, those triggers, those traumas, we can be at each other's necks. If you're not careful, you can really get into arguments and fights and really hit below the belt. And I would really like to point out that with it being Libra season, there's this mirror effect. So, if somebody's coming at you upset and then you match their energy, now you guys are marrying each other somehow. So you guys have to step back and think about, okay, how is this a reflection of me? What is it that is making me upset? Okay, is this in my control? Can I fix this? We have to, start bringing in the logic, start bringing in the Libra. Let's start trying to compromise, whether we're doing this within ourselves, because, sometimes the argument is going to happen, the trigger is going to happen, and there's nothing we can do about that. But once we break away from that and we go into our own little corners to deal with, our emotions as adults here, we can process this on our own or communicate this with whoever we're having the disagreement with, When you said this triggered me. And then you can work on the triggers within yourself. Like, okay, so when people say that, I don't like when people say that. Why is that? You can start asking yourself these questions. You can start diving deep into, these triggers, these traumas, and facing those head on, because Aries is basically the ram, and what do? They literally ram with their heads. They ram into each other with their heads. And if you're not careful, that can be negative. But if you use this energy in a good way, it can be positive. It's Libra season, so it can go either way. It's up to you. If you want to use this energy in a positive way, you can take these emotions that you're feeling head on and, really dissect them and really get to the bottom of why you feeling triggered in some way. Why are you feeling upset? What is it that made you feel upset? Is it genuinely that the other person just made you feel that way? Or why is it that they can make you react that way? You got to really ask yourself these questions. You got to see what's the problem here. Where can we compromise so that we're not arguing over the same things over and over and over? Am I giving too much? Am I taking too much? Like, there's so many things that we got to take into account, but that's just what this moon is illuminating. We're closing out a lot of chapters. We're leaving a lot of bad habits, a lot of bad things, a lot of bad attachments behind. So we just have to be more self-aware moving forward. So when we are being triggered and when we are being upset and when we are in our moods, we can communicate that with others so that we're not triggering them or creating some type of issue, So it's not easy. This is a day-to-day thing, but that's kind of what the energy is wanting us to do. And funny enough, Aries rule over the head. So be careful for any head injuries. I don't know why I want to say that. Protect your head. Headaches, anything. Just take a breather, take a break, drink water. Yeah, and try to stay grounded. Find something that helps you woosah during this time. In case you are feeling that raw energy because, oh yeah, it can happen, and it can happen quick because, like I was saying, Aries is ruled by Mars. So, and Mars is in Gemini, and it's preparing to go retrograde soon at the end of October. So we're dealing with that pre-shadow retrograde energy. So if you're not careful, you can be doing too many things at once. You could be like moving too fast, and there can be an accident, or there can be some type of disagreement, or something can happen where things is imbalanced because you're not careful. You can be all over the place. Your mind can be all over the place. Your emotions, everything can just be, it's Gemini. It's all over the place, and it's just time to ground. And if you're also not careful, then yeah, this is when you can be communicating a lot. You can say too much at once. You could just be spewing, and then boom, there's some type of argument, and you're like, oop, I didn't even mean to say it like that, So it's just easy to really go overboard at this time a little bit. If you're feeling triggered, if you're really feeling this energy not so positively, just letting you know it can go there. But on the positive side, it can also help you face these, issues or aggression or anger or traumas or triggers that you can, or any changes that you're not adjusting to as easy. It can really help you face that and deal with that if that's what you want to use this energy positively for. So it's just also about bringing things into balance, compromising and also asserting yourself in a healthy way, So it's okay to give up a little and be like, okay, we can agree to disagree, or we can come up with some type of compromise. And then you can state, we're not doing this, or I'm not doing that, or this is where I draw the line. We can do both. We can have both. It's possible. We just have to learn how to communicate, whether that's taking a moment to separate, get our thoughts together, come back, and then we can do that, because we can't be upset and then try to compromise all at once. Nobody's gonna really be hearing each other, unless that's the way you fix your problems. But everybody's different. For me, I prefer a little time alone to gather my thoughts and really think about it, and then come back to the situation and be like, this is where I was triggered, this is why I was triggered, and this is where I want to go moving forward. And then I'm wait for that other person to respond, and we can go from there, because relationship healing is really going to be on the forefront here, because we are in Libra season still. And after that Libra new moon was a lot of new things that we had to take into account, and a lot of things that was illuminated to us. And now this full moon is going to be bringing a close to that. And I also wanted to say, for the Aries new moon that happened in March of this year, which was at the spring equinox time, we were making new goals and new habits and new lifestyle changes that we wanted to bring into our life. But we had to go through all of these retrogrades in the summer. Now we're into fall, where it's harvest season, and we're in Libra season, which is the opposite of Aries. So those things that we wanted to apply into our life or bring into our life can now be illuminated, can now be coming to fruition, can now be coming into our lives, whether that's just, some of us are going to be fully experiencing whatever goal or habit or change that was, and some of us are going to still be needing to put in a little extra work, or they can fully experience whatever that goal was or whatever that habit or change was. But bringing it back to the relationship healing that's taking place, It doesn't matter the dynamic. It doesn't matter the title of the relationship. There can be some things coming up about it, whether you gotta revisit it again and finally have that final conversation, because we have just got out of Mercury retrograde. So maybe the conversation hasn't been able to really stick true or happen yet. So now this could be the time where, you know, certain things can really be, again, coming to a close, because full moons is about endings, things coming to light, illuminating, and coming to a close, releasing, purging, you know, letting go, essentially. So relationships can be getting released this full moon. And if you find yourself in this type of dynamic where you're not sure, or you're really questioning whether you want to continue putting effort into this relationship, I wrote down a couple questions that maybe would be good to ask yourself, like, what is this relationship to me? Is this headed in the direction that I want or need it to? You know, because you want to know if you want to put more effort into this. So is the relationship headed in the direction you want? Is the title something that you want, or the dynamic something that you want? Because if you're in a committed relationship and you don't want to be, then maybe that dynamic or that title is not for you. You know, that's just like a simple example. But whatever, there's so many dynamics out there. There's so many relationships out there. So you really have to just apply this to how it's happening in your life. Another good question is, what is this relationship here to teach me? You know, like, so if you do know that the relationship are on its last legs, or if you're feeling a bit uncertain about the connection, you know, what is it trying to teach you? You know, is it something that you have already learned and you're still holding on to this person, and it's kind of like old news or old habit or old connection, and it's kind of time to let it go, to acknowledge, okay, this person was only here to teach me these things about myself, or these things, because that's all relationships are. They're here to teach you about yourself and how you connect with other people, and the things that you tolerate, you know, and your boundaries. So what is this person teaching you about yourself, or has taught you about yourself? And is this something healthy that you can still apply to your life and continue to build on this relationship? Or is it toxic and you're like, okay, you taught me what I needed to know and I'm moving on? So it's really on where you're going and where you're moving to, and what you want out of this relationship moving forward. And another good question is, are we both growing for the better, or are we growing at all? Because sometimes we can hold each other back from moving up in life in any type of way, whether that's emotionally or mentally, or even like in our physical life. You know, if you want to go off and do something, or if you emotionally, you know, don't have a capacity for something anymore, and your partner still wants to hang on to that, you know, and they're not allowing you, or vice versa, you know, that's really not a balanced situation. And we're in Libra season, so we're trying to bring things into balance in one way or another, no matter the dynamic, the relationship within your, whether it's within your family or at work or anywhere, really. Do you have space to grow? Does this other person have space to grow? Are we growing together? You know, are we giving each other space to express our authentic self? You know, maybe you have something you're interested in, but your partner is not, or your sibling is not, or your coworker, or whoever it is, you know, and you guys just don't meet eye to eye on that, or you guys just don't resonate when it comes to that. You have to make sure that you guys are growing together, like you guys are still feeding each other good energy, and you guys can be yourselves. You guys can, you know, express yourselves in different ways without making the other person feel uncomfortable? And, is there room for all of that? Can you go off and do your own thing without the other person or the other party feeling a type of way? Like, is there space for you to be you at the end of the day and not just you and the other person? Because we have the habit of merging together when we are in certain relationships, whether it's at work or any relationship. We can have the habit of merging and trying, to compromise and being on the same page. And, some of us don't really like rocking the boat. So we just like, all right, we're just doing this, and just going with the flow. But sometimes you have to make sure that you still have space to go off and do you and be you and still be committed to whatever the relationship is or whatever the dynamic is or whatever the other person needs. Like, we can be both. We can still have time for ourselves and be ourselves, and we can still make time and for other people, and there's room for both. Okay, so just ask yourself these questions if you're finding that you're in these types of situations where you're really not sure, like, or if you just want to take note on the relationships that you're putting your time and energy into. Are you getting what you need out of it? Is the other party satisfied just as much? Is everybody happy? Just taking note, and if not, you can make certain changes, and there's this opportunity to. And if you're satisfied, then you could level up and move forward in your relationships, or continue to pour into those and pour into yourselves, or whatever the situation might be. It's just important to be conscious that our health and our wealth is met, are all on our own, and the people that we care about. They're two separate things, but can be done at the same time. I just really want to put that out there. Because people be getting crazy out here sometimes. But Aries Full Moon. Let's see what these cards are saying. Yeah. Don't know why people... I used to be like that. So, I guess, we all gotta mature eventually. And the cards are flying. I don't know where it went. Sometimes the cards don't want to talk. Okay, thank you. Let me get one more. Okay. Oh. Okay. Wow. I just got a notification on my laptop that says, stop giving your energy away to things that you truly don't care about. And that kind of correlates with this card, the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I feel like a lot of us have held in a lot, have carried a lot of baggage with us, like I was saying earlier. Before the pandemic hit, we were just on a go. We were just working the matrix. We were just doing what we needed to do to survive, to do what we've been doing, to take care of our family and our lives and all of that. But once that pivotal time shifted during the pandemic, where we had to slow down and sit down, we were forced to face a lot of things that we just were bypassing and not dealing with, So from there until this point and years moving forward, we're, cleaning up now. We're cleaning up. We're speaking our truth. At least we're learning. We're trying to learn how to speak our truth. Because here with the Seven of Swords, this is sneaky energy. This is only saying so much, not really dealing with it all, not saying it all, not laying it all out there. You're only saying a little bit here, a little bit there, speaking half-truths, stuff like that. And it can come off as sneaky, it can come off as being dishonest, it can come off as, being fake. But a lot of it comes from a place of trying to protect ourselves, defend ourselves, keep that vulnerable place, protected, not wanting to open up fully, because then, so much can happen. There's a fear that things are not going to work out, that, people are going to leave our lives, people are going to judge us, people are going to leave us behind or not like us anymore. And that's the last thing we need, because a lot of us have a problem with, neglect and being left out in the cold and being alone and not having the support we feel like we need around us. And, so we suck it up. We hold on to the hurt close to our hearts, and we just continue to push on because, we would prefer doing that than opening all the way up, But I think now we're at the point where we can't do that anymore. You just can't. Because look, while we've been focused, let me show you this guy first. While we've been focused on carrying all this stuff, there's been two things behind us over here that's stable as hell, that can carry us through the years. The truth, we just had to make a choice. It's the Two of Swords talk about a choice. It could be confusion, but the way these are standing straight up, it would have just been the truth, We would have just chose the truth and went down that path. But since we didn't, we chose the hard road. We chose to carry that shit with us. We chose to hold it on to our chest and not let people in and not even deal with it on our own. And things still hit the fan. The truth came out eventually, The truth came out eventually, and we had to face it. And our worst nightmare came true, Those people don't care about us. They neglected us. They left us. They judge us. Now I can't be close to them, or, now I got to move on. And now, I don't belong, or I don't resonate with these people, or whatever, things just didn't work out, whatever the situation might have been. But look, there's always been these two cups behind you. A choice, true love, not people who want to see a part of you, who only want to deal with a part of you, that can't handle your truth, who can't handle who you truly are. That's who we've been dealing with. We've been dealing with those fake people, because we've been fake with ourselves, not facing our own truth, not dealing with our own stuff, not looking at our problems head on. We just been dealing with it and carrying it and just we can't do that anymore. So now we're making the choice. Now we're like, oh my gosh, now we're seeing these choices. Now we're seeing the truth. Now we're seeing who the real ones are. Now we're seeing where we should have been putting our time and energy and effort. Now we're seeing clear, okay? We're seeing clear. And I'm there with you guys, I've done the same thing, And now I know where I stand, and I'm not voting. I'm not voting for nobody, for nothing, because I've done enough of that. I've done enough of that. So, you want to judge me? You want to say certain things about me? You want to believe certain things about me? Do it, okay? Whatever. I'm still going to be me at the end of the day, because I can't put myself on the back burner anymore. I can't lie to myself. Put my feelings on the back burner. I can't do that. I can't. I can't. There's no more lying. There's no more There's no more blocking. There's no more, putting it on the back burner. It's just not. It's just not. It's just not. So we're moving forward. We're following our hearts, our passions, our intuition. You know, that calling. Picking up that cup behind us. Picking up that cup. And we're moving forward. And we're answering that call that our heart has always been telling us that we deserve, that we want. And we're going for it. Even if it seems like a joke, he got a fish in his cup. Who carries a fish in their cup? It looks ridiculous, but he doesn't care. He's going to follow it because, you see that? You see those tulips, those red tulips by his heart? Whatever that fish is telling him, it's what he loves. It's what she loves. And he's going to go for it. No matter how ridiculous they look, they sound, they're going to go for it, you know? Because we're manifesting a brand new beginning for ourselves. Like I was saying in the beginning of this video, the 10-10 portal, this full moon, endings, chapters, phases, habits, people, they're all going away. That's old. It doesn't have space anymore. We can't pretend that we're a certain way all the time when we're not. There's so many phases and facets of us, and if we can't indulge in all of them, then, you know, you can't be around those people that make you feel like you can't do that, because we have so much to offer. And if you only want me when I'm in party mode, or when you want me when I'm doing something for you, or when you just, whatever people are saying, whatever parts of them or parts of you they only want to see, or vice versa, whatever the case might be. We have so much more to that than just that. Like, we can't ignore the other parts of us just because this is the part that's accepted. No. Everybody got to come. Like, all parts of us got to come. I did that thing again where I didn't press play and I was talking to myself this whole time. So I guess, you know, again, Mercury retrograde is not completely gone yet. So I got to be careful because I am moving too fast and I am scattered. So we're recording now. So you're not going to see me pull out any more cards because I already did it. I'm not even mad at myself because I already see the game being played. But what I was saying is, we're now expressing ourselves for who we truly are. We're standing in that power. We're standing in our power. We're moving forward. We're taking into account everything that we are and accepting everything that we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're like, this is me, and I am moving forward, and I'm following my intuition, because you're leaving behind things that has made you feel left out in the cold, neglected, not supported, not loved. You're leaving all of that away because you spent so much time ignoring how you truly feel and ignoring how you truly thought about the situation because of what other people may think or feel about the situation. So it's like you ignored your truth in order to compensate or satisfy somebody else. But it's like, we're not doing that anymore. We're not. We're standing in our truth. We're saying what we mean. We're meaning what we're saying. And we're leaving out anything that make us feel like that, you know, because we've taken the time to get our head and our heart on the same page here with the King of Cups. We've taken the time to reprogram our minds and to really get rid of things that is in our own way, you know, and like, we're holding on to that cup. Like, as you can see, he's holding on to that cup. Because now he knows, like, he got his fire back. He got his sense back. Like, he knows what he wants. He knows, you know, the spirit and God has been calling him to do something, or us to be doing something. I'm only saying him because this is a king, you know, and these are like masculine figures, and like Aries is a masculine sign, you know, it's masculine energy. So we're really going to be stepping into that masculine energy within ourselves, because we all have it, male or female. We all have masculine, feminine energy, you know. It's about bringing those things into balance, you know. So a lot of us have been putting a lot of energy into our feminine side, which, you know, not speaking our truth and just going with the flow and just, you know, And I'm not like, that's just the low vibration of feminine energy, of, you know, just not just being submissive and just going with whatever society is telling us, you know, not really. And that masculine energy is when you stand up for what you want, you know, you speak your truth, you put your foot down, you put a boundary up, you say, no, this is not what I'm tolerating, this is not what I'm dealing with, I'm not tolerating that, you know. And we have to bring both of those into balance, because sometimes being submissive is the way to go, and sometimes being dominant is the way to go, and you just have to have both within yourself to know which one to activate and use, you know. Because if you're using that soft muscle, like we've been using that more feminine side, where we haven't been, you know, pushing against the grain, and we haven't been, you know, standing in our truth, and we haven't been following our hearts, you know, and manifesting the life that we truly want. But now that masculine energy coming through with this Aries energy, and we like, no, we're putting an end to all of that. The masculine energy is like putting people in their place, speaking their truth. This is me, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, and if you don't like it, move out the way. Like, that's the energy that this full moon is bringing us, because we are tired of going without and feeling lack and feeling neglected and feeling like we can't be ourselves and feeling like we're not accepted in the environments or people that we've been surrounding ourselves in, you know. And we're getting out of that, and we're going and building new foundations somewhere else, you know. We're not dealing with this anymore. You know, we've acknowledged that we are stable within ourselves, that we are home within ourselves, that we got ourselves at the end of the day. Like, nobody else got our back, like we got our back. So that's all that matters. So you can go anywhere in the world and be completely fine, because you're showing up as who you are. You're showing up as your full authentic self, and you're not scared to not be accepted anymore, because you're just like, okay, well, this is me, so you don't like me, you don't like me. Like, you're not afraid to not be liked anymore. You're just standing in your power, completely standing in your power as the king, you know. And this is a major arcana. As the magician, you can create any life you want, because you're standing in this power, and you're not letting nobody tell you that what your heart wants and what this little fish right here is saying is a joke, or ain't real, or is stupid, or, you know, ain't worth your time or energy. Because you're like, no, it is actually. And you're speaking your truth with the Justice card here. This is Libra energy. So it's like you're really putting things into balance. You know, where you've been really soft, you're now speaking up and putting a boundary. And when, you know, you've been hard, you know, now it's time to get a little soft. You know, whatever the situation might be, everybody is going through something different. But with all this masculine energy, you're standing in your power regardless. And, you know, if you are an emotional person and you haven't been, and now you're like, well, I'm emotional, and you're just standing up in that truth, that's your truth. You know, I'm sensitive, I feel these things, and I'm not going to ignore how I feel. That's your truth. Whatever your truth is, you're standing in that, and you're not taking less than that. And anybody who got something else negative to say or don't accept it, you're moving on and you're cutting them off, because she got that sword in her hand. If you can see, she has a sword in her hand. She's cutting people left and right. Like, okay, bye. Okay, bye. Whatever, that's not helping you grow, helping you be your authentic self, you know, because here's the Fool card at the end of the deck. This is the energy that we're taking on. It takes courage to be a fool. It takes strength to be a fool, because we've been programmed and taught that you're not supposed to let go of anything that you've invested time and energy into, like your family. Like, you got to stick by your family. Blood is thicker than water. Sometimes your family is the reason why your life isn't going the way you want it to go. Sometimes your family can be holding you back. It could get toxic, and if it gets toxic, you got to get out. You got to save yourself, you know, like, regardless. That doesn't mean you have to disrespect them or You know, like you got to create distance so that you can be you and grow and expand. And a lot of people don't want to leave their hometowns or their family or wherever their foundation was, you know, because that's, you know, our home where we feel connected. But it's just like, that is within ourselves. Your home is within yourself. Your root is within yourself. You feel grounded within yourself. So wherever you are in the world, you can ground yourself. You can find a sacred space, a sacred area, and ground yourself. You do not have to stay where you're not growing. There's a place for you somewhere. You have to have the courage to go for it, though. You're gonna look like a fool because probably somebody in your family never done it before, you know, or somebody in your people in your environment, people that are around you haven't done that before. What do you mean you're gonna just move to another country? Or what do you mean you're just gonna move to the big city? You know, whatever the situation might be. What do you mean like you're gonna quit your job and start your own business? Whatever the situation may be. They're going to be like, what? Because it's just not, and it's not meant for them to understand. When Spirit called you, when they said, hey, listen up, I'm going to need you to go over here and do this. Your whole family wasn't a part of that call. That was personally to you. You answered that phone call. You picked up. You said hello. It wasn't on speaker. It wasn't a conference call. It was you. You got that call. So you got to answer it. And you got to go. You got to go where it's telling you. Because if you don't, this is where you're going to stay. This is where you're going to stay. But if you do choose, this is where you're going. You're standing in your power. You're standing in freedom. You're building new foundations. You're speaking your truth. And you're starting all over. You're starting all over. And Aries is the beginning of the astrological year. So this is kind of, again, a full circle moment. So it's time to step up and live the life you truly want and break those generational curses and break out of those norms and live that taboo life you want to live and live free and roam free, because we have the right to. We have the right to. That's our birthright. You were born on this earth to explore it, okay? But humans make it hard for us to do that because there's rules and regulations, and you can't come over here if you're this race, and you can't go over there if, you know, and it's just like, but I need to go over there so that I can help those people, or these people can help me, or that we can work to get, like, you know, like there's a place for everybody in this world. But if you stay where you are and you're like, well, I can't go anywhere, then that's where you're gonna stay. But if you be a rebel and you break the rules, who knows where your life can go? Who knows where your life can go? Who knows? You know, because the world, it's yours. Like, you can create whatever you want. Like, it's that simple. You can literally, if you believe it, you can do it. You just need patience and drive and to manifest it, to believe that it's yours, because that's it. Because if you believe that it's not going to be yours, then it's not. Because then you're not going to try, you're not going to change anything, you're not going to go for it. But if you believe that you can have it, you're going to at least try. You're going to at least try. So, turn lemons into lessons. Exactly that. All those things that you went through that left a bad taste in your mouth or left a scar, turn it to lemonade. Be like, dang, that was messed up, but it taught me to trust myself. It taught me to believe myself. It taught me to listen to myself, because I wasn't doing that before, and I was too busy listening to other people and other things. But that lesson, that shit, it taught me to trust myself. It trusts me that I got me, period. And you're taking on that full role again, and you're like, you know, I'm out. I'm about to enjoy my lemonade over there, and I see y'all when I see y'all. Look for the signs and synchronicities, because Spirit God, your spirit team, they're sending you signs. Like the fish in the cup, they're sending you signs, letting you know this is the way. Follow the way. You know, you have to follow the baby signs because only you can see the signs and only you know that it's talking to you, you know, so you have to pay attention because God don't talk to everybody the same, you know. Some people get dreams, some people have visions, some people hear voices, some people, there's all kind of ways that God communicates with you. You just gotta pay attention and listen because He's trying to tell you something. He's trying to show you. But if you're like, nah, I don't believe in that. That's woo-woo. That's stupid. That's taboo. Then you're ignoring what he's saying. And you're just listening to whatever. You're not listening to what you truly need to listen to. So the choice is yours. Bring in the balance, guys. That's the message for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you found it informational or inspired you in some way. If you're interested in a private, personal reading, hit me up on Instagram. Look in the description box below. If you want to donate to the channel, that information is also in the description box. Don't forget to turn on the little bell to be notified when I upload. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.